very long video. That's why I decided to do the portrait mode. It seems that YouTube is really trying to push the shorts and the vertical videos, which is also the portrait mode. For those of you who don't know, whenever the screen is like this and not widescreen, that's called portrait mode or vertical. But enough with the technical lessons. I just wanted to say hi right quick. I noticed I got a message from my analytics saying that I had some comments, and I was just taking a break because I'm sitting here doing my Japanese homework, and I decided to take a break. I've still got some more to do. Right now, it is around 4 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon. Let's see. Yeah, 4:21. I was off by 21 minutes, but I was pretty close. Just wanted to give you kind of not necessarily just an update about what I'm doing, because, if you're new to this channel, if you happen to find me, or even if you've been following my channel, maybe some of the things, aren't interesting. But there are a couple of reasons why I want to share with you, but I think the main reason is that I find that this is an aspect of life in Japan that is interesting, and I would have wanted to know a little bit about before I came here and before I got involved with life here and working here and studying here. And later on, what I would like to do is actually compile kind of an outline for you and sit down one day and actually think about all the main things that I feel like I've found interesting, the things that I've learned, and the experiences that I've had that have been most profound or whatever since I've been here in Japan, because I've been here now for 4 years straight through. From the time I arrived right before the pandemic until now, I've been here for 4 years. It's kind of crazy to think about, but yeah, that's the way it is. But anyway, when I decided to take this break, I thought it was a good opportunity to just do a short video and tell some of you a little bit about my experience at the Japanese language school. I'm not going to tell you the name of the school. I'm not supposed to do that, apparently. I got I guess it's an orientation packet that has the rules and the policy of the school, and we're not supposed to, tell people on social media what school we're going to, or post any information about it, or phone numbers, or anything like that. Hey, Glenn, thanks for joining. It's good to see you too. Just doing a really quick update to just share a little bit about how things seem to be different at my school and what's going on in relation to that, and what I hope is coming up. I'm pretty sure it's coming up very shortly. But last semester, I think you guys probably remember, if you watch my videos, I complained one day because my classroom was so loud. We basically had over 40 students in that classroom. Marco Polo, yo, man, how's it going? Good to hear from you. Yeah, it's been a while. Thanks for stopping by. But basically, last semester we had like the larger class, and a lot of the students were really, really loud. Well, there are a couple of things that changed. We got a lot of some of our teachers left. Several, maybe 4 of our teachers left. We got new teachers, and they seem to be a little stricter, they seem to be good and enjoyable, but also a little stricter. But my classroom size for this semester is only about 15 people. I'm very, very, very happy about that, because not only is it quieter automatically by default, but apparently the majority of the students that are in there are not loud students. So that's very, very nice. And as usual, more than half the class is from Nepal. and there's some people from Vietnam. We've got a student from Sri Lanka, and we've got Indonesian students. I'm the only other person in there who's not from one of these countries. I'm the only one who's not from an Asian country. And I met some new people today that were really, really nice and pretty cool. I mean, they're quite young compared to me. I'm the old guy in the room, I guess you could say. But uh, overall, I'm much happier with the way things seem to be going at the school for this semester. The other thing was that I was holding off looking for an apartment near the school because staying in my van, it's been it's I wouldn't say that it's good, but it's better than nothing. It's better than having nothing or no options. But several weeks ago, I got the flu, and I was sick for like a week and a half, and then I still have just a tiny bit of that cough left. It hangs around for a really, really long time. It takes a long time for that cough to leave. And when you're staying in a car or a van, and you're sick, all you really want to do is quote go home. You want to go home and stay in bed and relax at home and recover. But that wasn't possible because not only was my home too far away, it's also just not in a condition to be the kind of place you want to go to right now. You can ask Glenn in the comments, quietly wandering. He's been there a couple of times, and he knows it's not the kind of place that, not right now. It doesn't have a kitchen or bathroom. It's quite challenging to stay there, and when you're sick, it's practically impossible to be comfortable there. So it's not the kind of place you want to just go to. But I just had a gut feeling the other day on Sunday. I just thought there's got to be another place available, and so my gut told me to go online and check. There's this website called Jimodi, and for those of you who don't know about it, if you're in Japan or you're going to be in Japan, you definitely will find this website interesting because it's a place where you can get a lot of stuff for free. People are just giving things away, but they're not going to ship it to you. You just have to look in your local area, and then you can go pick some stuff up. Um, I was looking through their real estate section for many days, and it doesn't change very often. Everything that's listed there tends to be kind of reposted, but a new one was posted less than 45 minutes um, after or before I logged in, and I saw this house that it's a 5-minute walk from the school, just 5 minutes, and it has a parking spot, a free parking spot included. And basically what the landlord said was the tenant who was renting it just up and left. And not only did they just up and break their lease and leave it, but they left their stuff. The house is completely full of, it's not messy at all, but it's full of furniture and sheets and futons and dishes and appliances and just everything, even a TV. It's got everything, a bed. I wouldn't need to bring anything. And they said, anything in here you can use. Everything in here is fine. And here's the funny thing. They said, we haven't taken the time to clean it out and empty it out to get another tenant with their own stuff. So they dropped the price. So they dropped the rental price. They removed the key fee. For those of you who don't know this, whenever you get a rental in Japan, you'll have a ton of fees, and it can be shocking because you might find a super cheap apartment that's only 30,000 yen. It's like a little over $200 or something like that. A little over 200 American dollars a month. That's super cheap, right? But you might wind up paying over $1,000 just to get moved in, because you'll not only have to pay your first month rent, but like the second month's rent, security deposit, which is basically like another month's rent, you'll have to pay sometime. And by the way, this isn't applicable for every single rental. It's applicable for some. But I'm just letting you know so that you're aware of it. If you ever get in this position, don't freak out. Just be ready for it. make sure you check all of these fees before you get your heart set on a place. But there's also like a guarantor. If there's a guarantor fee, you have to pay that. It's usually a percentage of the monthly rental price. There could be a management fee, which is a monthly occurring fee. It's generally around like 1,000 yen or 1,500 yen, somewhere in there, every month. Plus, there's like what's called a gift money. Sometimes it's just like, thank you for renting this place to me money. It's ridiculous, but that plus not just key money or lock change. Those are two different things actually. Key money and lock changing or whatever. These things can also be added up, and also there's insurance. Fire insurance is mandatory. It's possible that an agent or an owner really tries to drop all of these expenses on you. So you can see where even the world's most, or Japan's most rather, Japan's cheapest apartment, even if it's just like 25,000 yen a month, it can still wind up costing like 140,000 yen, over $1,000. It's really ridiculous. And by the way, it doesn't end there, because likely if you move out before a year is up, you'll have to pay like 2 months extra rent plus a breaking lease fee and maybe some other fees. But even if you stay through the end of your lease, you're still going to have to pay a cleaning fee, which is determined based on the square meters of the apartment. So even a very small apartment can wind up costing you like 40,000 yen, like $280, $290, just to have someone come in and clean the apartment. Plus, they'll expect you to clean it. They'll tell you to clean it. That's another funny thing, is that when I moved out of my really small apartment in Hiroshima City, they told me, make sure you clean out the apartment really, really nice and sweep it and mop it, and then take pictures of it and send it to us so that we know that it's clean. And I said, okay. But then a few weeks later, after I moved out, they sent me a bill for a few $100s, and it said, this is cleaning fee. And I said, but I cleaned it. And they said, no, that's different. This is professional cleaning. They come in, they deep clean everything, they clean out the air conditioner and all of that stuff. And I said, then what was the point in me cleaning it? Why did I spend my time cleaning and sweeping and mopping and getting it looking all nice, just to have to spend another few $100s to have somebody else come in? You see how stupid this is? But I'm just letting you know so you're aware of it. I didn't mean to get off into all that, but there's a reason I mentioned it, okay? So thank you for sticking with me. This particular house, the way that the landlord and the owners look at it is that it's an inconvenience for people to rent this place, because all of the stuff was left there from the past tenant, and typically Japanese don't like that. They don't like the other stuff to be left there from the previous tenant. So in order to rent it out to somebody else, what they would really need to do is get that stuff out of there and clean the place up nice and have it empty so the next people can bring in their stuff. Okay, that's the ideal. But because none of that has happened, they're like, oh, this is no good, so we're going to lower the rent. And guess what else? No key money, no lock change fee, no security deposit, no paying 2 months rent, zero. I mean, literally zero fees for moving in except for the first month's rent. That's it. I pay the first month's rent and move in. And then at the end of the first month, I pay the second month's rent, and so on. That's it. There is one other fee that's unrelated to the house, but that's because of the location of the house. It's in a community that has a community group. For those of you who follow DIY Japan's channel, he's mentioned this before, I believe, because he's told me about it before, but I'm sure he's mentioned it in his videos where he talks about like a community organization. I think it was Danny that told me that, but there was there's another friend of mine from Germany, and where he was renting. Now think about this: he's a foreigner and he's renting. He was renting in a certain area, and he told me that that area also had the community meetings. They had community meetings regularly, and they had community events. And if you live in that area, you're expected to attend those things. So if you're not attending and you're not being a part of that, then they're going to, at the very least, they're going to cast you some very disapproving looks. But maybe at worst, they'll come knock and ask you if you're going to be at the next meeting or something. But anyway, um, that particular area, right next to my house, is a spot where they do the taito drums. And so they have some special events sometimes, and they play the drums there. And the landlord asked me, do you like the taito drums, the Japanese drums? And I said, yeah, that's very cool. So it's another opportunity for me to be involved with the local community. And I thought this is perfect because not only am I interested in, being a part of the culture and learning more about it, it's also an opportunity for me to get better at my Japanese, right? Just so by doing something fun and learning it and being a part of it, I'm also getting to practice, right? I think it's excellent. I think it's really perfect for me. There's a fee once every 6 months. It's 3,000 yen. So it's like 21 bucks, $21 every 6 months. So in 1 year, if I'm there for just 1 year, I'll pay $42 for the whole year to be part of the community organization, the community group. And I think I don't have any problem with that. I think it's wonderful. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was pretty cool. Let me take a look at now that I got all of that out of my head, I'll take a look at your comments. Glenn says, I was going to chat over the weekend, but some stuff happened. Your studies at school is going to be my main topic. Yeah, man. Feel free to message me anytime you're free. My classes, and that's the other thing I was going to say, is that my schedule has changed. So I'm still going to classes Monday through Friday. It's full time. For those of you who don't know, if you're here on a student visa, you're going to have to be going to classes full time, whether it's a university or a language school. You're going to be in classes 5 days a week, okay? And you're going to be loaded down with homework. This is the book my school is using. You might be familiar with it if you know anything about studying Japanese. This is Mina no Nihongo, basically Japanese for everyone. And I've got this booklet, which is kind of new from last semester. Let me close it so you can see the outside of it. It's just like a folder that they printed, and it's got the homework for all of, I think, the first 6, is that right? Six chapters? It might be more than that. 10. Okay. The first 10 chapters of homework is right here in this folder. And every day we have to do it and turn it in every single day. And they check it to make sure we do it every single day. And then the next day when we come back to class, they return it to us. It's important that we do that and turn it in, otherwise we can get in trouble. If we continue, or if a student continues to ignore the rules and stuff, they can potentially, just lose their visa if they cause too much trouble. But anyway, I'm not taking classes in the afternoon now. I'm taking classes in the morning. So instead of going from like 1:30 until 5, my classes are now from 9 in the morning until 12:30, just past lunch. Time will tell if that's really better for me, but it does feel kind of a little nicer to be done at lunch and kind of have the rest of the day to do my homework and get that out of the way, and really focus on, wrapping it up at a decent time, so that I can either, spend a little time doing something else, or go to bed at a decent time or whatever, But anyway, the dreaded cleaning fee. Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. But I love how they definitely put it in the contract, but there's a lot of stuff, just like the cleaning fee, that they just don't really come out and make obvious. They don't just come out and mention it to you. And so it can be surprising, and you can feel like even a cheap apartment winds up costing you a whole lot more than what it should. And that's one of the common pet peeves that people have here in Japan, are these stupid fees. And and extra things that they stick you with, Uh, let's see here. Australian dollar to Japanese yen hits 100. First time in 9.5 years. Yay. Wow, that's great. Yeah, and I saw a video where someone said that the yen is on track to go to $1 for 200 yen. And he said if that happens, then the yen will collapse. It would just completely collapse. And, man, it would be really, really nice if I were making money, outside of Japan, because if you can make strong currency while you're living here, you can really, really enjoy your life. Because right now the yen is really so weak, but only been that high 5 times in the last 26 years. Yeah, and until the yen collapses, it won't be the last. It'll keep happening. But anyway, as far as my health is concerned, I've got a couple of things that I'm doing. This is my custom mix that I just ran out of today. I need to go get some more seasoning and remake this. But one of the things that I bought, I'll show you here. This is cayenne pepper. And I have a huge bag of it. It's like a 2 kg bag. It's huge. And I just put some in there and keep it in my bag. And whenever I come into the cafe, I get their soup. And I dump a big rounded spoon in it. It is super hot. But I just sip on it until it's all gone. It does help to thin my blood a little bit, even though I do take a little blood thinner every day. I thought, the blood flow right now is so bad in my legs. It's gotten worse. And I don't really know what else to do right now besides what I'm doing. And I just started adding more cayenne pepper just today. I did mix a little bit into my regular mix, but I'm just not getting the kind of blood flow into my muscles and my legs that I should get. And the cramps are crazy. It's nuts. I get cramps in places I didn't even know I had muscles. Yeah, I mean, getting cramps in the muscles on the tops of your feet, on the bottom of your feet, on the side of your foot, the front of your lower leg, like where your shin is. I didn't even know there were muscles there, but I'll just get random cramps. And do you know why? Just for using it. I mean, you want to hear something pathetic? This is, and sometimes when I tell people this, if they don't know anything about my health, they'll say, that's what happens when you get old. No, this is not what happens when you get old. This is what happens when you have a huge cancer tumor on your kidney, because this is what's causing all these problems. But check this out. I woke up yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, maybe day before yesterday, I think. And it just so happens when I moved my right leg, I started to get this massive cramp in my right calf. I mean, it was really terrible, really bad. And I straightened my leg. I pulled up the ball of my foot to try to stretch that muscle and keep it from, hurting too much. I mean, it was really painful. But whenever I tried to use my left leg, okay, this is the sad part. When I tried to use my left leg to change my position on the bed, keep in mind, I'm in my van, so the bed is just wide enough, really, for me to be on. I can't just roll over. I'll fall off the bed. So I have to shift in place in order to go from one side to another side, or from my back to my side, okay? I have to kind of shuffle and that sort of thing. And when I try to do that and use my left leg as like a brace to lift myself up, it caused me to have another cramp in that leg in a different spot. I was like, what the hell? Sometimes it really feels like I can't use any muscles in my legs at all. Like, nowhere, not in the front, not in the back, not on the side. I just have to try not to move them at all. Otherwise, they'll just cramp. So it's really ridiculous. Um, but that's I'm trying to trying to get better, and time will tell how things play out. But that's kind of where it is right now. Um, I've still got a couple more months of medical insurance coverage, and then after that, my income is going to have to be solely whatever I can make. And right now, I'm not sure for sure, how I'm going to do that. I'm trying to get an online teaching job, but I haven't been offered that yet, straight out, because they wanted me to have like a really nice computer setup and all these other gadgets first, and then do the interview, and that makes no sense. Why would I go out and buy a brand new computer and headset and ring light and all this other crap if I don't know that I have the job? I think that's so stupid. So the company's asking me to do something that makes no sense. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. But even if I do get that job, I have homework to do every day. I have a ton of study to do every day. And doing the homework doesn't mean you memorize this stuff. Let me show you something right quick, okay? Just if you're thinking about studying Japanese here, I think it's much better to come here and work and then study Japanese in your free time. It's much less stressful. If you get a visa that's a student visa, then there are some things that you'll have to do in order to keep your visa. And one of those is pass the JLPT tests. You're going to have to show progress, otherwise you can lose your visa. So there's some stress there, right? And if you're needing to make income and study at the same time, it becomes so much more stressful than if you're just working a job, getting paid, and then studying Japanese in your free time. It really is the better route. And you might ask, why am I not doing that? Well, it's because of my health. It's not consistent enough for me to do that yet. And there's no way I can work an online job and have a work visa. If I could, that's what I would do. But, okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. The vocabulary, okay? Each chapter, you'll go through a couple of chapters within a couple of weeks, and you'll have vocabulary, grammar points, kanji, and you should already know hiragana and katakana, but you'll be learning kanji and things like that. I've got a book in here. Oh, it's in my other bag. I have a book that's just kanji, and you'll be getting, several kanji per week, up to 20 per week. But this is what I want to show you. This is vocabulary, okay? Check this out. This is from just lesson 4. Just lesson 4. This is when I actually started taking my vocabulary notes. Take a look at this. Okay? This right here. On this page are 11 phrases and vocabulary that are introduced in lesson 4. There's more. The next 2 pages are also from lesson 4. How many is this? 40 in total. 40 vocabulary or phrases, either words or phrases. 40 words or phrases in one lesson. And within 2 weeks, you will have gone over at least 2 lessons. You're talking about generally anywhere from 70 to 80 or 85 vocabulary that you're supposed to cram into your head within a 2-week period and then have a test. That's on top of all the grammar points and on top of the kanji and all the homework. So, this is why I say that if you're able to work and then study this on the side, it's so much better, it's less stressful. But unless you just have tons of money and you don't have to worry about income, and or if you have someone supporting you, then it's not that big of a deal. You can just devote all your time to studying, and that's fine. But my situation is, it's already hard enough to do this because sometimes I just physically don't feel good. I mean, right now I'm just trying to keep my legs from hurting. Um, it, it it doesn't make any sense, to just be constantly worried about your legs cramping if you just use them. I don't know what else to do about that. But if you're healthy and you have someone supporting you, then by all means, it's a good option to just study. But when you're the only one supporting yourself, and your visa is dependent on how you're performing in school, and you have to work, even if you're healthy, but you have to work some hours to make enough income to support yourself. And you really need to be able to make over $1,000, or at least $1,000 a month, just to cover the basic things, I would say. If you can make $1,000 a month, then you can cover the basic things like your apartment, your food, and transportation and stuff like that. But you're not going to do anything else. You don't really have time to do anything else anyway, except on a long holiday you might can take a break. But, oh, I'm sorry. Check this out. I'm sorry to move the phone around so drastically. This lesson 4 actually has 54 vocabulary words. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you can see that. That's 54. There's more on this page. So, yeah, you could literally have up to 100 in just 2 lessons in less than 2 weeks that you have to test on. Plus, kanji within 2 weeks could come out to almost 40, around 40 kanji. So, around 100 vocabulary or phrases, plus around I would say 40 kanji, plus generally around 8 to 10 grammar points, plus around 10 homework assignments. Yeah, it's busy work. But anyway, let's see here. Oh, hey, Peppy. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you here. I'm old. You're not there yet. Well, that's the thing. I know that I'm not old, and I don't even consider you old. To me, old is just, it's literally when you just get to a point where, even if you're mentally there, things just become, much more restricted. Physically, what you're able to do and accomplish. To me, that's old. But unfortunately, that's the way I feel sometimes. But my age it doesn't match that, and my mind definitely doesn't match that. But until I can get this stupid tumor taken care of, that's kind of where I'm at. Do you feel the school is helping a lot with your Japanese? Is it helping? Absolutely. Is it helping a lot? That's difficult to say because I didn't have a very good experience last semester, and I can't completely blame the school about that. But I will say that, overall, considering my health also, I feel like I studied pretty hard. I tried really hard, but the school basically, they were not disciplined. They let the students in there just kind of run the class, and they were too rowdy, and they weren't the staff of the school, mainly the management, they weren't very understanding of my complaints. And for those of you who haven't heard this yet, you'll find this shocking, but I was literally told by one of the teachers that, and she told me this privately, but she has left. She went to teach at a university, so I'm very happy that she was able to do that because she really wanted to do something bigger, and so I'm very happy to hear about that. But I'm sad that she left because she could speak English, and sometimes whenever we were talking, she was more honest and open with me than the others. But what she told me was the way the schools are now in Japan, the Japanese language schools and the universities, especially the language schools, they're mostly filled with people who are coming here not to learn Japanese. They're not coming here to be part of the Japanese culture. They're not coming here because they're interested in Japan. They don't care about any of those things. They're just coming here to work in the factories. They're coming here to work. They're coming here from very poor countries, but not just poor countries or developing countries. They're coming from like the poor regions of these countries. Not all of them, but many of them. And when they get here, here's the crazy part. All the hoops that I had to jump through, and even after getting my university degree, teaching for several years in China, winning some teaching awards, having a pretty prestigious, for an English teacher, it was a pretty prestigious career, you know. At the height of my career, I was the private tutor for a really big celebrity in Beijing. He was the leader of a boy band. He was making a movie at the time and doing some live performances and singing. And I was out there staying close to his trailer, you know, his trailer on the set where they were making the movie. I stayed there all the time, and when I wasn't there, I was in a 5-star hotel, and I was making close to $5,000 a month. I mean, that's amazing for an English teacher, right? I wish I had that job here. That would be amazing. But as soon as I arrived in Japan, that all died because the pandemic started immediately, and all that disappeared. You know, it just went away. But anyway, even with all of that, okay, even with all of that, it doesn't get much better than that as far as a CV is concerned, as it relates to an English teacher, somebody who just wants to come here and teach English. But it was still almost impossible to get a position. And ultimately, I had to pay for my visa. Because the company that hired me, they used their lawyer to do all the paperwork and everything, and I had to pay for that. They didn't even pay for that. It cost me almost $2,000. But I wanted to be here so bad, and I knew that I needed to be in Japan. My gut was telling me I needed to be here. And I wound up being correct about that because, like I said, as soon as I arrived, the pandemic started. But I went through all of these things and all of these qualifications, and I had to check all of these boxes, and it took a really, really long time, and I finally get here, and then I see just tons and tons of people pouring in, some of them high school age from country areas, and the school themselves, the staff have told me, some of them don't even really have classroom experience at all, and that's why they're loud and boisterous and not following rules and so distracted in class, is because they're literally just like uneducated kids that don't really know anything, and they don't come to Japan to learn Japanese. They just come here to work in the factories. But why is this system in existence? Why is it happening? Well, that's because the government has set up this system, and it's like a three-way system between the government and schools and the factories. So the factories get the workers, and every month when they get paid, part of that money goes to the schools, you know, for tuition, which is the visa that they actually have. It's actually a student visa. So all the students work 28 hours a week, which is the limit for a student. And part of that money goes to tuition, part of that money goes to them, and it's just enough for them. And also, some of the money goes to their rent, which most of them stay in the dorms provided by the school. So the bills, the rent, and the tuition and all that money just automatically goes straight to the school, and they have a little bit of money left over. But if the factories like them, they can just give them a work visa. And they don't have to study in Japanese. They don't have to pass language tests. They can just leave the school, get a work visa, and never study Japanese again. So they can be living and working in Japan and not studying Japanese at all. With no university degree, no education or little education, nothing. And what did they do in order to earn that right to get here and work here. They came from a poor place with almost no education, which is the complete opposite, basically, of where I came from. But it was so much easier for them, and they're still just pouring in, pouring in. So um, I'm dealing. I was very unhappy about all of that last semester. I'm dealing with it a lot better now. I'm changing my attitude about it because, it's ridiculous to be upset. But I said all that to kind of connect to your question, Glenn. The school has the ability to help with my Japanese, but unfortunately, the way that they do things overall is pretty much like any school. They're cramming stuff in. It is like a cram school where they're just cramming stuff in, but it is literally up to the students to realize and to figure out a way to review that stuff and memorize that stuff, because the school is not teaching us these methods and tools. Um, okay, making sure that no one is around me. I don't want to be bothering anybody. But anyway, luckily for me, I've been able to figure out some ways to help myself memorize and retain. But it's just so much information. And I have my first JLP test coming up in July. So in 3 months from now, I have to take a JLPT test. I have to get at least in 5. But if I can pass in 4 within this year, I guess that will be a good at least base level of Japanese. But my preference would be in 3. I don't believe I'm going to get to N2 by the end of my time, because I've got exactly 1 year at this school. From now until I'm finished, it's 1 year, and I don't believe that within that time I'll do N3. If I do, that'll be amazing. But if I get to N2, that's the goal. They tell me that's the goal. They want everybody to get to N2, but I will be really, really happy to get to N3. But pleased at least to be a strong N4. Yeah, and Glenn, technically I was supposed to be a 1.5-year student, but because I was in the hospital, I missed several months. You already know that. And when they put me in class, they started me basically at the very end of book 1 and started me in book 2, which is everything in the later levels that builds on the early stuff. And I missed the first 20 lessons. So I was lost. And I got to the point where I just kind of stopped caring, I wasn't doing homework at all. I couldn't understand it. So I was doing kanji. I was focusing on doing kanji. And there's a community center here locally that does weekly volunteer. They have weekly, on Tuesday nights, they have weekly volunteer groups. Just a group of people come in and work with you on your Japanese. So I've been doing that. And on Saturday now, I'm doing kanji. So I'm actually doing real kanji with brush and ink. And the cool thing is that my sensei, she knows what I'm studying, so she pulls up the kanji that I'm studying, and then that's the kanji that I practice writing, so that's helpful also. Oh, hey, Philippe. Yeah, it's good to see you too, man. It's been a while. I haven't been showing up in anybody's videos or anybody's live chats because I'm just so busy with other things. I don't have time to... sometimes I might could just show up and say hello and then leave. I'd have to be there for like 5 seconds, but I feel like it's kind of lame. It almost feels like if I do that, it's like advertising myself or something, but I'm not trying to grow my channel. Is my goatee off? Yeah, it doesn't it doesn't look lined up right. I guess I just realized that. That's what happens whenever you shave without your glasses on and you're in the shower and the mirror is steamy. That's what happens. Ah, but anyway, as usual, this video turns out to be much longer than I was expecting or planning. Just wanted to share a few things and get them, not really get them on my chest. I just thought they would be interesting things to share with you. It's completely fine, Akiya. Thank you. I appreciate that. And speaking of Akiya, I'm really looking forward to that house. I just, I feel that it's perfect for me. And it's not one that I'm buying. I'm just going to be renting it. And I'm hoping that I'll be there for the next year. But it's not really, really old. So don't expect something like, a Meiji or Edo Kominka. It's nothing like that. But I do expect there to be some special things about the house that I can share. Plus, with the community involvement, I'm really hoping that I can film some stuff there, especially with the drums, the drum group that they have, and share a little bit more of the culture around the neighborhood. I think that would be great. But anyway, yeah, Glenn, it was great to catch you also. I'm glad to see you stop in. And everyone else who stopped in or who watches this later, I appreciate it very, very much. And yeah, I'm gonna take more pictures, but I didn't want the landlord to think I was weird by snapping off a bunch of pictures. So I thought there's no reason to take too many until I actually move in. I actually get the house and move in. Right now, I'm just waiting on them to fix a couple of issues. They're trying to get the electricity on. The electric company told them that it would be on when I came to look at it, but it wasn't. So they're trying to get that worked out, and they want to get a couple of other things turned on, and like the gas and the water. And after they check all of that, they want to check all the lights, all the bulbs, and everything, all the basic stuff. They want to make sure everything's running. The refrigerator is okay. They said if the refrigerator is not working properly, they'll change it. So that's cool. I mean, it's easier than grabbing stuff from my home and having to bring it over here. It's so much easier. But he said that it probably take them up to a week to get all that stuff sorted out. And I've got his line account so we can message each other directly. It's very possible that I'll be moving in before the end of the month. And so as soon as I get in there, I'm definitely going to share some pictures and video. Looking forward to that. Pepe says, you can see it in Akiya's. Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyone who's interested, I have one picture posted of the Ginkan area of this house. But like I said, once I get my contract and I get moved in, I'll take some pictures and video. So be looking forward to that. Please don't forget when you have. Oh yeah. I will definitely be sharing it with you guys. But that's all for now. I'm gonna finish my homework, grab some more coffee, I guess, and get back to it. So thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. And any comments or support that you send my way, I appreciate it. Arigatou gozaimasu. And I'll see you next time. Ja ne. Now I just have to remember where the stop button is. Oh, there it is up there. Okay, got it.